Over 25 years after one of the greatest, some would say the greatest car of all time, the McLaren F1, we finally have its successor. And we're very lucky to get a little sneak preview of the McLaren Speedtail. Any car or any McLaren that's going to be a true successor to the legendary F1 would have to have one vital component, and that is the central driving position. I don't know why, but there's something very exciting about it, and the Speedtail has that central seating, room for two on either side. This feels really special and really very different to your usual car experience. Unlike the F1, it doesn't have a gear stick, so you can get in on either side. But once in here, it just feels extraordinary. I mean, you have this gear changes up here. You have these two big touchscreens left and right, and you're looking right down the center of the car. It seems like an obvious thing to say, but it just feels right sitting in the middle of a car. You have this beautiful symmetry of the dashboard, and you feel really in command of the whole environment. To add to these three displays, you've got two further screens up here, and they're for the rear view mirrors because we haven't got actual mirrors in this car. Obviously there's not a lot to see in here because we're in the studio, but it seems like a very clear view of what's going on either side of the car. You've got glass panels in the roofline here. Everything feels exactly as it should, and you do feel like you're in control of this car, even sitting still here in the studio. But I tell you what, I can't wait to get out on the open road in this thing, because it is their Hyper GT. It's not about ultimate track speed, this car. This is about going on a journey. And it feels like I'm going to go on a journey to space sitting here. Really, really special. So a hypercar with room for three. You could almost argue it's a good family car, but just stick to one kid. From the front view, it's very much a McLaren. You have that sort of McLaren DNA, but it's when you come to the profile, things start to get really interesting. And the rear of this car is just extraordinary, and it's like nothing I've ever seen. You see where they get that name from, that Speedtail. It just looks fantastic and really suggests the top speed of this car, which we know is going to be faster than the 243 mile an hour of the F1. We don't know the exact number, but I think it's safe to say, even standing still, this car looks very, very fast. So McLaren are labeling this a Hyper GT, and if you're going to go Grand Touring, well, you have to have luggage, not any old luggage. Look at this, bespoke Speedtail luggage, which fits nicely in this little rear boot right in the center of the car. So of course, up front we have the McLaren badge, but this being a Speedtail, it's not just any ordinary badge. This is actually white gold, 18 karat white gold with carbon fiber inlay. Now I don't think many people who own this car will be doing too much of the dirty work themselves, but just in case, we have this fantastic snap-on bespoke Speedtail titanium toolkit, and it really is a thing of beauty. That is gorgeous. And of course you've got these covered in front wheels, which is a little bit unusual these days. It's obviously for aero and wind resistance, but it gives it that sort of almost like a 30s streamliner, Jules Verne sort of futuristic look, I think. So underneath here we have the power plant. Details are a little bit slim as to what it's finally going to be, but we do know it's going to be over 1,000 horsepower, and it's going to be a hybrid system. Obviously very advanced as well, because it's going to take this car to the fastest speed a McLaren has ever gone. The one stat they had given us, which somehow gives up some of the performance of this car, is 0 to 300 kilometers an hour in 12.8 seconds. Now, just to put that into perspective, that's over 3.5 seconds quicker than a P1. And if anyone sat in a P1 at 0 to 300 kilometers an hour, they'll know that thing feels amazingly quick. It's quite hard to imagine 3.5 seconds quicker in this elegant thing. So that's our look around the static Speedtail. It just makes you want to get in and drive this car even more. There is unfortunately one bit of bad news. There's only going to be 106 of these cars built, and guess what? They're already sold out.